He ran and robbed a bank with his mates and brought all the money and his mates back to my house that I was renting to here. And then they started burning all the cash in the bath. That was my first ever house, that. Very difficult the end of last year because I had 4 renovations on and a full-time job and I couldn't keep everyone happy. It was just got too much. You're trying to balance everything, can't you? You're trying to keep everyone happy. Couldn't fulfill my role anymore. I knew straight away I wanted to buy a property because that's all I was interested in. I like the ones that are really, really bad, so I don't have to pay stamp duty, because if it's classed as uninhabitable, you don't have to pay stamp duty.
Assuming you're a property developer, because why else would you be tuning into this podcast, and you're looking to become a better developer, then you won't want to miss our show this year. At our shows, you'll have the chance to listen to live expert speakers, network with like-minded professionals, and meet new service providers who can help you grow and perfect your property business. With Milton Keynes behind us, we're on to our next location in Bristol on the 30th of April, followed by Birmingham on the 16th of July, Manchester 10th of September, and finally Newcastle on the 15th of October. The show is created by developers for developers, and the most amazing thing, tickets are completely free. Visit our website, propertydevelopershow.co.uk, to book your ticket today. Welcome to another episode of the Property Developer Show, the podcast. Today, I'm joined by Sean Sharp, a local investor here in Liverpool. I would say Liverpool's landlord sweetheart. He's grown a massive presence in the area, and he's certainly a go-to person in terms of Liverpool property. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. So we'll jump straight into kind of how you got into property, because I think that's a really key story in a sense of like how you worked in Asda. And then you kind of got lucky.
You've done your own work, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. And now you kind of didn't really know what you were doing, but you just kind of followed this process and obviously have become very successful off the back of that.
Yeah, so how I initially got into it all was I started working in Asda at 16, and they had like this, you could buy shares. So it was owned by Walmart back then. Mm-hmm. So you could buy Walmart shares, and I'd never bought shares in my life at this point. But a lot of people was doing it in Asda, so I just sort of done it just because everyone else was doing it, not because like I had a plan at the end or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then I joined it, and you had to be in it for 3 years before they matured. And then after I went in at 18, sorry. And then when I was 21, they matured, and then I got a big lump sum of like £10,000 just off selling the shares, because you sold them straight away. And then I knew straight away I wanted to buy a property because that's all I was interested in. That's all I used to watch everything on the telly was all to do with property.
Where do you think that interest came from?
Do you know what? I actually don't know, I just always been obsessed with property. Like no one in my immediate family, the house that I grew up was like, has got this like sort of bug that I've got. Like they had like a football bug and that. I always had like a property bug. And so I knew for a fact that's all I wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to do it, didn't know what steps to take and all stuff like that. So I had to learn how to do it all. I had to go and find a mortgage advisor. I had to go and learn how to I didn't even know how to book a viewing and nothing. Back then, I don't even think Rightmove, it wasn't an app or nothing like that,
Yeah.
So I had to go on my computer and like go on Rightmove, you know what I mean? Like the website. Because I don't think it was an app back then. Not the way, we're dead lucky now, aren't we? We just scroll straight away in seconds and everything comes up.
Yeah. Well, it makes it a bit too easy for people to access the market now, I guess. And I think there's what you were doing back then versus what you're doing now, I assume are two very different
completely, yeah.
things.
I used to look for signs back then, outside houses, like for sale signs.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they don't even put them up anymore, do they? Because it's all about Rightmove, isn't it?
Well, it used to be in newspapers as well, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the Liverpool Echo, they used to have like a big spread on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I used to read it in the Asda, I wouldn't pay for the paper. I'd just go get the paper, open it, read them all, have a look at it all. It was every Saturday, just have a little special of about 4 or 5 pages, and then I'd put it back.
Wow. Madness. I mean, it's come a long way since technology.
I forgot about that actually. a Saturday special of the property.
Yeah. So in terms of like what your investment strategy is today then, what does that kind of, because obviously it must have evolved.
Massively, yeah. I just concentrate but now on like BRR really.
Right. How have you sort of found that in the market that we're in?
Quite good really. I think it's good because of my page and the following we've got. We do get like brought to quite a few deals by all different people.
Right.
So like sometimes when I can spot a really good one. So there is some really good deals still out there. Like I got one, I've just done one there in L15, and we've just had our valuation back as well. And they downvalued me £5,000. I was a little bit heartbroken, like, because it was like £5,000. Why someone downvaluing me £5,000? Like, I don't get it. If you're going to downvalue me, you should do it massively, not £5,000. Like, what's the point?
Literally.
I know. I don't know. So I near enough got all my money back out. I've had to leave a couple of £1,000 in, which is not that bad, because obviously I'll have that back within the first year.
Of course, yeah.
But that's the main strategy I'm trying to do now. It's just BRRs. I've got 3 going through legals right now. 2's in probate. Oh, have you ever bought through probate?
Yeah.
It's a long process, isn't it?
In some cases it is, yeah.
Yeah. My last one was 5 months. I like to be quick, I like buying them quick because I get very impatient. I just want to start. So one's been about 5 months and one's been about 4 months up to now. And then I'm buying another one that's just normal, and they're very eager to sell. So I'm made up. So my solicitor and their solicitor talking constantly, and hopefully that'll be soon.
Nice. Are you still sort of working full time around that then? I know you had the project management stuff that you were doing as well.
Yeah, I've left the corporate world last year.
Right.
Left the corporate world. I'm going to give it a go. Give it me all and see what happens. I'm still doing the project managing for people. I've got one on now in Aintree in Liverpool. Nice. The owner lives in London. We do all his viewings for him, and when he gets a property, we just do like the project managing for him.
Right. Okay.
Because we've got a lot of trust with each other. And we get on well, so he just always gives them to me.
Yeah, it's a natural progression though, isn't it? You know, you're doing your own projects, and it makes sense to do other people's. It's just the same, but not your end result. It's someone else's end result. And
I still loved them and that. I've done 2 just before Christmas as well, and they turned out brilliant. And what they were for 2 different people, and then both different investors have already messaged. One's already actively looking, wants me to go and view more for them.
Nice.
So like it grows and grows. They want more and more because we make the process so easy for them.
Yeah.
All we have to do is like really on a Friday, we'll just send them a video. I just send them a video on WhatsApp and just explain everything that's being done that week.
So other than like the Instagram page, what other things are you doing to find sort of deals without giving away too many secrets?
I do what everyone does. I always post letters.
Right,
always,
yeah.
So I have a big stack of them in my van. And obviously we do viewings for people online. So I'm always doing viewings. So I always have them in my van. And then I always get to the viewings early and just go along the street and just post them, all the ones that look like they're a little bit run down. But I think a lot of people do that.
How does that work with the viewings then? Do you ever get tempted to think,
I always, to be honest with you, man, I've always got like my money spent on like projects that get brought to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, obviously I haven't got like an unbelievable amount of money, but and we have all different investors that look for different things. That I don't really like turnkey just because I like getting my hands dirty and I like all my money back. We have a lot of investors that we just do who only shop for turnkey.
I used to do EPCs, and my first ever flip project was off the back of doing an EPC for a national home buying company that just contacted me through the register, and I went along to this viewing and to do the EPC, and the guy was there and telling me all this story. He's like, this company's like going to give us 80 grand for this house, and I was like, fucking hell, 80 grand. I was like, I'll buy it off you 90. He was like, all right. So anyway, he sort of went away. He then stupidly spoke to this company that obviously had secured an option, I assume, and were looking to sell it on the open market. And I ended up securing this house for 90 grand just off the back of doing an EPC randomly.
That's creating your own luck. I like anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, they never actually paid me for that EPC because I think they were fuming that obviously I'd knocked them down massively.
You got the house though.
Exactly that. So
did you make good profit off it?
I did, yeah.
I like stuff like that. So you've seen an opportunity and gone for it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just complete luck, but you create your own luck in that sort of environment, don't you? So
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's always that if anyone's getting into property, trying to do as much stuff like that, like EPCs, because it's not hard to become a domestic energy assessor. Like trying to do stuff like that, where you're doing viewings for people, you're just in and around it.
You're putting yourself around them type of people, aren't you?
Exactly that.
I love doing the viewings. We get to meet all these estate agents, and all the investors that are on the viewings as well. Like I can spot them a mile away when they've travelled a long way to get there. I tell them on the view, and I say, I can do this for you. It'll save you coming all the way down here.
Yeah, nice.
And then I've had loads of business like that.
I suppose as well, it's kind of giving you different avenues to potentially source deals to those individuals as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Nice.
And it's knowing all the estate agents. I can ring the estate agents up, a lot of them, and just say like, hello, you're okay, and I know them. And just sometimes they give me keys, like, and just say, go and let yourself in and come back.
Yeah. Well, they probably shouldn't be doing that, but
Because, I'm there all the time and I know them that well. They just say, save sending someone with me, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I know you were talking about on, because obviously I've got all my insights from Callum Hussenhausen. So he was you and him were talking about when he was an estate agent and you were posting about these specific houses and selling these deals as such. So I suppose once you've created that sort of reputation, the opportunities naturally come to you through
definitely
that genuine, because you come across really genuine, like there's what you see is what you get sort of thing.
That's how we built up a large following so quickly. It was just by giving free information out. So I would just spot a deal on Rightmove and I'd say, I know for a fact that's a good deal, so I would just screenshot it, put it on the story and tell everyone and just say, this is what I think about this property. Like, it can be turned into HMO. That'll be a good flip project. That'll be a good BRR. I used to just write exactly what I thought and post it and never thought nothing of it. And we never used to have that many followers back then, but we'd always have loads of replies of people just like who were interested in that. And then the followers just started growing and growing.
How many followers are you on now?
19,000 now.
Right, really?
Yeah, and we've never paid for no advertisements or nothing. Like, never, like, they always ask us to like boost, the post and pay, and I never ever pay for them because sometimes we get like 300,000 views anyway. So
I mean, that's nuts. That is, that's
just off posting a video that takes me 2 seconds. I done one the other week on a road in Waverley where I was doing my last BRR just because I happened to be doing a viewing in the road, and I just done this dead quick video. It literally no thought in it, no nothing. Just writ a little tiny like one sentence caption, just posted it, and it's on like 350,000 views. There was like, so I always like, I've listened to some podcast. I think I listened to one of yours today and it was all about social media and how to get things like going viral and all stuff like that. And all the ones that have gone massively viral off my page have been the ones that I haven't even hardly like put any thought or effort into it.
I don't think there's any like rhyme or reason to like stuff doing really well and then other stuff that you think, oh, this will pop off and never goes anywhere. It's just
loads of people are arguing in the comments,
that's what helps.
Like I never replied to anyone and everyone, there was like 350 people messaging in the comments, all arguing with each other.
What was the post?
It was just a load of empty houses in L15 and the council owned them all. And I just took a video and all I wrote was, it's about time the council sold these. That was it. And it just went off. Absolutely 350 people just causing murder in the comments. Every morning I'd wake up and look at my phone and have loads of new followers and all that.
Wow. What were they sort of saying in the comments then?
Just a lot of them were arguing and just saying like, they agree with my sentence, saying that the council have owned them for years, they're absolutely dead, and they're nice big terraced houses in a nice location. They can be done up really well. They used to done the pound scheme. Do you ever remember that years ago?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Is that what that?
It's around there, yeah.
Right.
But they never sold them all off. I'm not sure why they never sold them all off, but there is still quite a few there that need the same sort of scheme.
Yeah, I mean,
I actually went to view one of the pound houses, so they have to keep them for 5 years before they can do anything.
Right, okay.
But that's like the contract they have. And this young family, they were just they were single, like they never had any kids when they first moved in, but now they've got 2 kids and it was only a little 2-bedroom terrace, so they're allowed to sell it now and move on. But how brilliant stuff for them, because it's a massive step for them, isn't it?
100%.
Because there's no mortgage on it.
Yeah, which is one of the hardest things to do in this current market is if you're not in a position to be a first-time buyer, it's so difficult to get yourself in that position.
Yeah, it's a brilliant opportunity for them.
Massive. I'm surprised they've not sold all them units then, like the one.
Well, I think that's what everyone was arguing about, saying they should bring it back because more people would like to do the scheme.
Yeah,
obviously you'd have to do it up yourself and spend money doing it, but you can just do it, take your time and do it with your friends and that.
Yeah, absolutely. Madness.
But it was a good scheme, and that family now, they're going to sell that for 100,000. It was up for. And they're putting it all down. So I was speaking to them. They were a lovely couple. They're putting it down on their next house as a full deposit, which is a huge deposit, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. If Liverpool Council are listening, bring it back.
Definitely, yeah.
Heard it here first. So in terms of like the type of deals that you're looking for then, obviously the buy, refurb, refinance, is there certain things that, obviously the numbers have got stacked, but are you kind of looking in certain areas? There are areas that you kind of, or will you just buy anything that stacks up in terms of the numbers?
I like the ones that are really, really bad, so I don't have to pay stamp duty, because if it's classed as uninhabitable, you don't have to pay stamp duty, do you?
Right, okay.
So obviously it has to have like structural damage, it has to have like no bathroom, no kitchen, like no roof, anything like that. They're my favourite ones.
Right, yeah.
Just because you don't have to pay stamp duty, and it's a big saving, isn't it?
So the worse, the better, basically.
Yeah, They're the ones that I like, yeah. So the one I've just bought in, it basically the whole roof off the back of the house was just completely gone. So I showed the solicitor all the pictures and she was like, that's definitely classed as uninhabitable.
Interesting. So in terms of sort of, you've done the buy refinance, you've kind of pulled your money out. I know you saying that you literally don't use Rightmove to promote the house in terms of it being available for rent. Are you still sort of just using your social media channels to?
Yeah, just still using the social media channels because we get it. But I've been given some to like the social housing now. So the last 4 I've given to social housing.
Right, okay.
Because, all the new rules that are coming in for the renters' rights and all that.
Yeah.
The social housing, they're paying more. They pay your landlord licensing.
Right.
Which is a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
And they do all the tenant-based repairs and it's guaranteed rent. So the last 4, and they pay a little bit more than like the normal market rate. So the last 4 have all gone to social housing.
No brainer then, really.
Yeah.
So in terms of how that kind of came together, like that, in terms of that opportunity, if someone was looking to use that as a strategy, how would they go about sort of finding that information?
They can message Liverpool Property, the page. We can put you in touch with them.
Right.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
So we help the social housing company now.
And that's in Liverpool. Actually.
That's in Liverpool. Yeah, they have to be under Liverpool City Council. The rule is if you've got a purple wheelie bin, you'll get the contract.
Right, yeah.
That's what they tell me on the phone, the managers all the time. They say, if it's got a purple wheelie bin, Sean, we'll probably take it.
Wow, fair enough. And they're sort of looking for just bog standard 2-bed, 3-bed.
4 beds, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, they don't really like flats because obviously if there's problems like another flats above and all stuff like that, it causes problems for them. Right. So they just really like houses, like 2 beds, 3 beds, 4 beds, and they pay guaranteed rent.
No brainer.
Yeah, I've got some tenants that like sometimes we struggle getting the rent, especially at Christmas and that. Sometimes they think it's a free loan. Sometimes it's a bit hard to get the actual money off them. But when you're going through like doing the company lets like that, it's very easy.
Yes, I've just seen quite a controversial character do an Instagram or TikTok reel about that exact situation where they're outside Lidl, I think, and they're like, you wouldn't not pay for your groceries like in front of like Lidl. You wouldn't just walk out and be like, oh well, I won't pay this month, I'll pay next month. And he's like, well, why on earth do landlords have to soak up this free, I don't have to pay my rent type scenario, which is such a controversial subject. And like, if you put stuff like that on social media, that's where the arguments start in the comments.
And then the reel goes viral then, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So they know what they're doing, don't they?
100%. Yeah,
by causing the controversy. Hey. I've had loads of excuses. I had some last year that was the best. One messaged me saying he's booked a family holiday so we can't pay his rent. I messaged him back saying, surely you should be paying your rent before you book an holiday.
Did you book me a spot? That's what you should have said.
Yeah, am I coming? I paid for it, so am I coming? So he did pay the next month double, but that was the funniest one last year I got.
Wow.
I booked a family holiday so I can't pay this month.
But I suppose that doesn't top your first tenant though. I suppose for people that haven't listened to that story, I think it's a good story to share.
Yeah, would you like me to tell you that one?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's my best story. Everyone loves that one. So that was my first ever house that. So I rented it to this lovely girl. And she had a baby and they were perfect. She was paying every single month for about 6 months. There wasn't a problem. And then she got a new fella. And obviously he must have been a bad lad, but I didn't know I didn't even know she had him. Never mind like who he was, I didn't even know she was having him staying there or anything like that. And then he ran and robbed the bank with his mates and brought all the money and his mates back to my house that I was renting to her. And all the police surrounded the whole house. There was a helicopter above. And there was they were saying they had hostages. So it went on, I'm not messing, it went on for about 6 or 7 hours. And the reason why the police wouldn't storm the house is because they were saying they had hostages and they didn't want to bring any harm to anyone. And then they started burning all the cash in the bath to get rid of all the evidence. You could just see all black smoke coming out the back of the house. And I was just like, oh my God, you just couldn't write this. I was only 21. I was thinking, you just can't write this.
Were you there when they were burning the cash then?
Yeah, the police actually rang me. I don't know how they got my number, but they rang me and said, just asking me questions like who was renting it to, like who's meant to be in the house and all stuff like that. But I just thought it was a girl and a baby. I didn't know there was anyone else. I didn't know this big armed robbery gang was in there. And they believed me straight away. They were all right with me.
Jeez. I mean, yeah, when I heard that, listening to your other podcast, I was like, Doesn't get any much worse than that situation.
And that was my first experience of a tenant
And you're
and a
still
landlord.
here. And you're
still
doing it.
carried on. But then after that, I got an unbelievable tenant in who was in there for 10 years and never ever missed a payment. Never even asked if they could pay late or anything.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it? It can go one way or the other way, and I suppose in the middle sometimes as well. But I think you can't be just put off by one situation in property.
No.
You've got to be able to.
And it was only the bathroom that was all damaged, because so we just done a new bathroom, me and my friends and that, and then we rented it back out. But that was my worst story. There's a lot more to that, and it went on for about, I'm not messing it, we were all outside for about 7 hours watching all this unfold. It was all camera crews and everything.
Oh, for the news and
the news and that, yeah.
Yeah, wow. So in terms of like, that first buy-to-let, the issues to where you are today, what's sort of been like the key lessons that you've sort of learned in your time in property?
Education. I should have educated myself a lot younger. A lot younger. It was only when like YouTube and podcasts and all that, because I found myself learning that way a lot better than like reading books or anything like that. So I wish I would have like got more into podcasting, more into YouTube a lot earlier than I did, because there's a lot of information out there that can't help you go. Like there's everything on there, isn't it? I love watching YouTube.
Yeah.
All the shows, I just love watching them all. And you learn so much about them, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I learned all about the BRR strategy of podcasts and YouTube.
Really?
I didn't know about that strategy when I was younger. It just no one had ever told me.
You just done it by accident in a way?
Well, no, not my first one. No, my first BRR was done off the back of, because I'd watched so many people do it.
Right, okay.
But I just had to build the first pot of cash up, so I had to sell the very first house that I bought to build the pot of cash up to start doing it, what I wanted to do.
And to pay HMRC.
Yeah. Yeah. You have done your research, haven't you?
Go on, it's worth sharing that story as well, because I think there's a lesson in that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So before I got caught by the tax man, I used to tell people like, oh, you don't really have to pay all the tax. You're all right. They're not going to come and find you and all that. And then once I got fined, I went through the whole process, which was a long process. Have you ever been investigated by them?
I haven't, no, touch wood.
It's not a nice experience at all. So we have a lot of young people that message the page who are starting out, and I tell them all now, you need to make sure you pay your tax from day one on every single house in full. I've got a really good accountant now who does everything for me. All I have to do at the end of the year is pay the bill.
Yeah.
Because he gets everything's addressed to him, everything goes to him, and he just does it all. And all I have to do is pay the bill. I would recommend anyone doing that. I never used to do that back in the day, just because I was new and I was young and just didn't really take it as like a proper serious business back then. It was just like buying houses when I could afford them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's a proper business that like the accountants has like helped massively.
Just very quickly interrupting this episode, have you got a property deal in mind? Want to build or grow your portfolio but unsure how to obtain funding? No problem. At Roma Finance, they love to lend. The borrower first approach means Roma deliver flexible, tailored solutions that accommodate the diverse needs and experience of developers across residential and commercial projects. With a flexible criteria, Roma take time to understand each borrower's unique circumstances. Roma's attentive team are always equipped to handle and take on your requests. They will guide and support you throughout the property journey. Colleagues and customer relations are the beating heart of their business. Don't forget to explore Roma's website, romafinance.co.uk, for helpful resources, including articles and case studies to guide your financial decisions. Remember, Roma Finance love to lend. Your property goals are only a call or email away. Now back to the episode. Now, I think that's important to have that structure in place.
Definitely, yeah.
Because it protects you from, essentially worst case scenario, which is tax investigation and a big fat fine.
Yeah, massive, yeah.
And there's only one way to learn from that, which is obviously
the hard way.
Yeah, or you set up correctly from day dot.
Yeah, so I tell everyone now, because I try and message every single person back on the Instagram, but sometimes there's a lot, so I hope I don't miss anyone out. But I always try and tell everyone to try and learn from my mistakes, because I don't want them to make them further down the line.
What's one of the biggest mistakes you think you've made in property that you've learned from?
Spending too much in rented houses.
Right.
Like,
and what do you mean by that?
like buying really expensive like kitchens and worktops and all stuff like that, and then going like a couple of years later and the place hasn't been looked after, and I get a bit heartbroken. So like I try and keep the cost down as little as possible. Now, I still like them to make like look them good, and they have to be like to a certain standard anyway. But I wouldn't go like crazy on like I used to pick like really nice front doors and all that stuff like that. You know what I mean? Instead of just buying a normal plain white one, it's like a really nice, you know, £2,000 front door, and then I'd go back a couple of like years later, and the whole door would be wrecked.
Yeah. So it's just mostly sort of spending sensibly in a way, and having practical stuff that you know is going to get some wear and tear. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So I wouldn't go crazy. That's another thing I tell everyone as well. I wouldn't go crazy on like all like the, you know, all the kitchens and the bathrooms and the tiles and that. I try and make it look really nice for as little as possible.
What sort of what's your kind of recommendations around sort of material suppliers, kitchen suppliers, bathroom? Where do you normally go for that sort of stuff?
Well, to be honest with you, do you want me to be 100% honest with you? The last two kitchens have been secondhand.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah, and they've been brilliant. One off a friend and one off online.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my friend was been in a really, really nice kitchen. It was only a couple of years old, but he was building an extension and putting an island and all that, so I just put it in the next house, and it looked really good. I showed everyone on Instagram as well, like on the story. I explained to everyone where I got it from and that. I only had to buy the worktops, which was £400, and the whole kitchen was free, and it looks brilliant.
Wow.
When the valuer come round, he even commented saying the kitchen looks lovely, because there was loads of cupboards. Right, I wouldn't normally put that many cupboards in, but we had walls full of cupboards because it was all free.
Yeah. So, and then the next one, what did you get off like Facebook Marketplace or?
Someone had bought like a big massive kitchen, and they were selling a lot of it off, you know, like all random cupboards and all stuff like that. And I put it all together, and my joiner put it all in, and it looked brilliant.
I mean, all you need is a good joiner to
make it look good. Yeah. But besides that, I bought the last, like, before the 2 free ones, before that, I've been to Hardens and bought about 4 out of Hardens.
Howdens.
Yeah, am I saying that wrong?
Howdens.
Howdens.
For non-Scouse translation.
Yeah.
We all know what
I've been there, and I always buy the doors out of there and all stuff like that, because the doors are really cheap, you know, like £27 a door and that, internal doors, which is brilliant. And you have the handles and all that, they sell the packs and that. And you can set up an account as well, which is really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth doing, like with Magnet, Howdens, all of those, and then you can get one quote off one other and then try and
I find Howdens is the cheapest, do you?
Really, yeah. LMPG is pretty good. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Where are they?
They're like a landlord national purchasing group. So if you pay for a membership, you get like basically cheaper than trade kitchens at Magnets. So they're essentially a purchasing group, so they get the best discounts, because obviously they guarantee, look, we'll give you this amount a year, and then Magnet are one of their suppliers. So if you're a member at LMPG, you get access to this bespoke pricing, which is basically for essentially only landlords, and they'll give you basically a really below trade kitchen, supposedly. To be fair, like all the kitchens that I've had off them are mega, to be fair, and they've got like different bandings. So they've got like band A, B, C, D, and obviously the further you go down, the more expensive the kitchen is. So you can just get like a band A, you know, 1,500 quid, a grand sort
Sounds
of kitchen.
Good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How much is that a month to sign up for?
I think for a year, depends how many properties you've got. I think it's around about 299, or if you've got a few more properties, like 499. But they base it on how many properties you've got, basically.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sounds
so
they
got
it
on like
you'll have to send me the link.
Yeah, no, I will do. I'll put it in the show description. To be fair, it's worth looking at, because you get like, they don't just do kitchens. You can get they've got a relationship with, don't quote me on the bathroom supplier. I can't remember the name of them. It's not coming to me. But yeah, they've literally anything.
Clifton's, maybe?
Not Clifton's, begin with a Worsley.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of them, yeah.
The red branding. They've got a relationship with them. Literally anything you need to put into a property on a refurb, they'll sell it through the National Purchasing Group.
Oh, definitely left it in.
Some stuff's obviously cheaper than other stuff, but that's just obviously the nature of the setup, and you can get access to all sorts of stuff through it. It's worth looking at, to be fair. It is really worth.
You have to send me the link.
Yeah, I will do.
I like anything like that.
We'll have to get them to sponsor this episode now.
We might get our memberships for free.
Yeah. I'll mention that, hopefully. So in terms of, I guess, the investor journey, so to speak, you kind of you obviously recently left your corporate job,
Yeah.
which is a transition in itself. Like, what was the kind of point with you? Because by the sounds of you've done pretty well in property in the sense of, buying early, getting really good equity, building the portfolio quite quickly,
Yeah.
buy, refinance. What was kind of the balancing act like, and also that period where you were like, right, I'm just going to sod the full-time job off and go full-time in property?
Well, to be honest with you, it was very difficult the end of last year. Very difficult because I had 4 renovations on and a full-time job.
Right.
And I couldn't keep everyone happy. It was just got too much. So I always knew this time was going to come, but I just didn't know when and where, you know what I mean? But I always knew this time would come where, like, obviously you're trying to balance everything, aren't you? You're trying to keep everyone happy.
Of course.
And I was friends with everyone in my job as well, like my bosses, and I was always friends with them. So I didn't want to fall out with them all at the end, and I couldn't perform. I couldn't fulfill my role anymore. Because I was too busy. Everyone wanted me in the houses to like make decisions, just like stupid decisions, like, I don't know, like what colour do you want this wall? Like, there's only so many times you can use FaceTime. I used to tell them all to FaceTime me all the time, but I've got some people who are quite old in the team as well, you know what I mean, who don't like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like just stupid things like, where do you want a light switch, where do you want a plug socket and all that. But if you've got 4 renovations on the go, it's a lot. So I'd be in meetings in my corporate job, and like my phone would just be going and going and going.
I don't know how you do it or how you did it.
I know. I don't know how I did it. But now I've left, I think, how did I juggle that? I just don't know.
What were you doing? What was the professional role?
It was in like it was the old council. So the old council got sold off years ago, and it was working for like a big housing association.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So obviously it was something to do with houses as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There seems to be a theme with you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I always knew that time was going to come, and I could feel it coming, For like a little while, I could feel it coming.
Yeah, it makes sense. So what advice would you potentially give? Do you wish you'd done that earlier, or are you glad that you sort of...
Well, there's a tipping point, isn't there? Because obviously you've got to stand on your own 2 feet, haven't you? With all, like, live off like the houses and all that. So I had to build the portfolio up to a standard where I could live off it, because I wouldn't want to drop my lifestyle, you know what I mean? Not like I live a mad lifestyle anyway, but I like to eat out in Nando's and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not have to worry, sort of thing.
Yeah. So I knew I had to build the portfolio up to a certain standard.
Yeah.
And then I knew I'd be able to leave.
Was that always the ambition? Like when you bought your first property in Asda, it was like, I don't want to work. I just want to do the property stuff. That was always...
I've always paid people to like strip the wallpaper, rip it out and all stuff like that, just because I physically can't be there because I'm in work.
Yeah.
So I'd pay like labourers and that. But on the last BRR, I was available, weren't I? So I was made up stripping the wallpaper. I haven't done that for years, since like the early days.
Yeah.
So I was made up, like stripping the wallpaper, ripping the carpet up. I was there every single day. I was there. We got it done. So that's the quickest one I've ever done.
Really?
And we even had like 2 weeks off over Christmas. No one would come in for me. If anyone would have come in, I would have been made up, but they all wanted 2 weeks off. But if they can't get them done a lot quicker when you're there every day, because you obviously, like, you can see things, can't you? You can spot things that's going wrong before, like, it does happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely helps being on site all the time.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean,
are you full-time in the property?
I've been full-time for the last 5 years, really, but I didn't have a salary to support myself in property. I'd basically, long story short, I'd saved up loads of money from the age of like 18 to 23. Yeah, squirreling money away, and use other people's money to invest in property. Left my job, just used that money that I basically saved to support myself.
Yeah.
Whilst I was investing with other people, essentially, and that's how I sort of got into property. Like, I was kind of similar to you. Like, I knew I wanted to be in property. I didn't know how all of this stuff worked. I just knew I wanted to do property in some capacity. And then when I figured out all these creative ways of buying and doing all this mad stuff that I'm doing today still, it just blew my mind. And I used that money to leave my job, and then used other people's money to start investing. And that's just basically what gave me that push over the edge. But I managed to build up enough money to support myself. Obviously, I was still living at home and stuff like that, so I didn't need a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it probably took me like 2 years to get to that point. And then I've done other businesses since and what have you. But it's, I've been fortunate that I took that risk really early on in my life where I didn't have any liabilities, got no kids, still living at home, minimal overhead. So I think if I was a bit older, if I was like now with the lifestyle I've got, I wouldn't, if I'd worked a professional career and sort of where I am now, I couldn't have left my job without building the portfolio up first. So
how old are you now?
28 now.
Oh, 28, still young.
Yeah.
Still young.
I don't feel young. I've been in property like 10 years nearly, since I was 18. Worked for a developer, so like just sort of fell in love with the industry straight away.
Where did you buy your first one?
Crew.
Yeah.
It was a 3-bed terrace, turned it into a 4-bed HMO, 1 ensuite, 1 bathroom, shared between 3, and then a WC downstairs. And I bought that for 65,000. Spent way more than I'd like to admit because we had a cowboy builder. And then, fortunately, we probably spent about 40 grand on what should have been like a 30 grand refurb, just because we had to obviously undo all the shit work that had been done. And then I literally sold that at the peak of COVID when the market went absolutely ballistic. I sold that for what I want to say 135. It was a while ago now. So made
so you've done well on it.
Really well, yeah. I mean, it was complete luck, obviously, how the market. I bought at a really great time. Like I went hell for leather. I bought pre-COVID, and then obviously benefited from that sort of mad
boom. We had a mini boom, didn't we?
And at that point, I decided I don't want to be a landlord, and sold everything that I'd had with this JV partner. We sold everything bar one that was in Article 4. And did really well off the back of it, and that enabled me to buy the mortgage brokerage that I was part of, and then 2 years ago sold that to the business partners, and now I'm doing the show. So, but this isn't my episode. This is your episode.
I like listening though. I'm looking forward to the show. I've signed up for it. I'm coming, aren't I? It's in Manchester, and I'm bringing a few of my friends.
Nice, yeah.
We're going to do a car share up there, I think.
Nice.
So I'll introduce you to some of my property friends that I've got.
Yeah. Well, you might need a minibus if they hear this episode. So
I know we were speaking before we started, didn't we? I done you a post, didn't I, when I signed up? I've been listening to your podcast. That's how I got onto you. Yeah. And on your podcast, it advertises the shows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I went on and signed up and got a ticket. And then I didn't know you back like before I'd done this, and I just done a post just because I always I don't even think I just do them.
Yeah.
I just done a post on my story and just said I'm attending this show. Would anyone like to come? If you'd like to come, get a ticket. And then you told me that load. How many tickets?
I think I reckon 30, around 30 mark, maybe even more. Between 20 and 40, but I reckon
just off one post, it's mad, isn't it?
And so I get myself and the team get notifications like when tickets come in. So obviously, I think it was like a Sunday or something like that, and we had like inboxes like going off, and we're like, right, who's posted, who's done something, so we know something's like happened, but we literally didn't know. Obviously, it was yourself, and obviously went on Instagram, saw it was you, and was like, right, got to get you on here now.
Yeah, and then you invited me down for the podcast. So this is my second podcast.
Nice. Yeah, do a few more then, you reckon?
Yeah, I enjoyed them. Yeah, I like listening to people's story, and I'm addicted to podcasts, especially property ones. Yeah. I listen to them all.
Yeah, I'm fortunate that obviously I get to do 4 episodes a month talking to people like yourself, and I always do tend to ask quite selfish questions to get the answers to things, but also listening to, because it's always different when you're in it. Yeah. And I was having a conversation now versus listening to it. When I listen to it back, I'll hear you say things that I'd never even picked up on when I was sat here listening to you. And I think podcasts and books and all that sort of stuff. I think you've always got in this I know I'm plugging it a bit, but the show as well, like going along, listening to what the speakers are saying there, meeting other service providers that can help you invest a bit better, and meet good lenders and all the other stuff.
It's a good networking as well. It's good to speak to everyone, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. I mean, that's where, there's no better place to meet other developers, because it's pretty much what it says on the tin, property developer show. So, it's a good place.
I'm excited to come.
I'm excited to have you there, mate. Definitely. It's going to be, a good one for the Manchester one. Obviously, we've got a few more before that. But
Manchester's later on in the year, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. But it's our second time in Manchester, so it'll be...
Was the first one? Did it go down well?
September, we had 320 people, 45 exhibitors.
Wow.
It was...
That's good, isn't it?
It was, it took us to the next level in a sense of how we run the events. Yeah, it was exciting. So,
and everyone's posting as well about it.
Yeah.
The word gets out there, doesn't it?
Well, that's it. It's a bit of a strange one. It's like, people see the value in it, and like it's become way bigger than me now. Like it's I'm just fortunate that I'd come up with the idea and pulled it together. But now it's the value that it's providing for the sector. That's what gets me excited. It's great to see. So
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I will be there. It's already in my diary.
Good stuff. Appreciate that. So if people want to get in touch with you in terms of maybe Liverpool property, how can they go about doing that?
The best way is just DMing the page. I always try and reply to everyone.
Nice.
And if you need to ask anything or you want any of our services, you can just DM the page, because we do viewings for people. Okay. We do project managing for people.
Yeah.
A lot of people send me their deals and just ask me on my opinion, and I just give them my honest opinion.
Nice. Yeah. So basically your services are project managing, sourcing.
I actually don't source, no. Okay. I've got friends who source though, but I actually personally don't source.
Right.
If I'm being honest with you, when I do get the good deals, I like to buy them myself.
I
don't like to sell them on.
Fair enough.
Is that bad?
No, I don't think so. No, that's property investing, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
So that's it really. And then we help people get social housing contracts as well, and we don't charge any of the landlords for that. That's just all free.
Yeah. So essentially viewings or project managing, or if they just want to pick your brains.
Yeah, well, I'm always happy to chat about property, definitely.
Nice, good stuff. Well, I appreciate you obviously coming on today, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure. Good stuff. So hopefully you've had some good value from this episode. Obviously Sean's got some good insights to the Liverpool property market, and obviously everything from tenant bank robbers all the way through to buy, refurb, refinance, and obviously a lot of me talking on this episode, so apologies if you came along to listen to Sean, but hopefully you've had some value from this episode. As I always say, please do like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and do leave a review on the audio. It helps the podcast. We'll see you again soon. Take care. All the best.